Hello, everyone, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy
Hey,
XN.
boy, Ish.
Appreciate you for that, Ish. And as always, please make sure you like and share this broadcast if you are on Facebook. And like I said, if you are on Facebook, please go ahead and make sure you hit that like button on Facebook on our Facebook page. And if you are on YouTube, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell for shows in the future.
Ding.
Thank you very much for that, Ish. And if you are on Twitter, please make sure you follow my Twitter page at X_Williams81 to check out our Periscope stream on Twitter. Alrighty then, Ish. It is week 2, finally wrapped up once again. And we are going to pick right up where we left off at yesterday when we came in and talked to the people about the first half of the Monday Night Football game between the Lions and the Packers. Well, there's a reason why they call it two halves in football-ish, because the Lions played a pretty good half in the first half, and in the second half, they chose not to show up. And with that being said, Aaron Rodgers did what he does best and took care of the pesky Lions. And Ish, he went ahead and got this one from me. Of course, it's easy to pick the Packers on this game. I mean, the Packers are supposed to win this game. But I wanted to switch it up. We saw a lot of upsets on Sunday. It was Monday. I was feeling it, Ish. I texted you. I said, hey, I feel a little something. I feel like the Lions can maybe pull this off. They had me the first half. They had me going, and then they let me down, as always.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely had you going in that first half. They had me a little bit nervous, too. I was thinking to myself, like, man, this Green Bay team, they're not looking too great. But then, that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, he just had to go ahead and swat them pesky little lines away and tell them, maybe next time, guys. Maybe next time. But Jared Goff, he did well. I mean, hey, if you're a Lions fan, you got to be excited about the way they played because, we were talking about before the season even started, the rebuild that they have going on in Detroit now after that trade for Matthew Stafford. Well, shoot, if you can hit on some of those draft picks, that rebuild may not be that far away, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it depends on what you mean by rebuild in Detroit, because
here you go being disrespectful.
I'm just being serious. I mean, I'm just throwing out the facts when it comes to Detroit as an organization. I literally today just reposted a status that I talked about a year ago about the Detroit Lions and them wanting to take the next step after they fired Jim Caldwell, right? You hired Matt Patricia. He comes in, he does a 9-23 in one job as a tie as well on his record. And you do not take that next step. So you go out and get Dan Campbell, a guy that wants to go bite off people's kneecaps, which, hey, if that's what you want to do, go do what you do on the offseason. Hey, whatever you do outside the field ain't my business. But if that's what you want to do, as in taking the next step, Detroit Lions, do what you got to do. I'm all here for it. I don't know where the rebuild is at. I don't know where the next step is at, but I'm actually glad for Stafford to be able to get out and still have a second career in the NFL and not have Detroit ruin his career like we've already seen two guys do that previously.
Why you have to be disrespectful to the Detroit Lions, man? Like, all I'm trying to say is
it's not disrespect if it's true.
It's disrespect, bro. I'm just trying to give people hope. I'm trying to let them know, like, hey, man, y'all look good. Y'all play well against the Packers. You may have something to look forward to in another 2 or 3 years. Instead, you just want to talk about how the organization is horrible. It's been horrible. It'll always be horrible. Like, man, you just being so disrespectful. You just want to start the show off on the wrong foot.
I'm starting to show off on the right foot. And as Obina Akajobi would say, the Detroit Lions have the worst front office in the NFL. At first, at one point, it was the Browns and the Jaguars at one point in time.
I disagree with that.
But at least the Jags can make it to an AFC Conference Championship game. At least the Browns can at least get back to the playoffs and get things rolling again. The Lions, we just gonna call them can't get right. That's really what we need to call them. I'm gonna stop spending time on them right now. We need to go ahead and move forward and talk about other teams and players in the NFL that actually need to be talked about, because the Lions are not one of them.
Man, it's just so messed up. Go ahead, man.
Hey, I'm just being honest. You know, it's the truth. All right. So tonight we actually are going to introduce a couple of new topics that we have for not just this show, but also for this show for tonight, but also moving forward the rest of the NFL season. And one of our topics will be called Mr. Slang That Thing. And of course, if you do know, we do have our new shop that you can purchase any one of our new shirts. We will, of course, drop the link in the comment section during this topic. But Mr. Slang That Thing, if you want to introduce this new topic to people.
Yeah, Mr. Slang That Thing. I mean, it's really just the guy that the quarterback that I myself or X feels like came out and made a difference for their team. And I love that we have this topic immediately following the Monday night game because Mr. Slang That Thing for me this week is none other than that bad man in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, how can you overlook what Mr. Aaron Rodgers did to this Detroit Lions defense? I mean, the first half was really good for him, but then to come out in the second half and do what he did, I mean, guys, I don't think. Well, I'm gonna say I don't think it could be anybody else because I chose Aaron Rodgers. But there are a couple of other people that were they were valid options as well. I think Tom Brady was another one for me that I probably could have picked as Mr. Slang That Thing. And then there were a couple of losers that were in the running, but honestly, Mr. Slang That Thing can't be a loser. He's got to be a guy that leads his team to a victory. So it had to be Mr. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, X, what do you think about that, man?
I'm not mad at you for that decision on that one. I mean, Aaron Rodgers for this game, 22 of 27, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns. Of course, 4 collective touchdowns for Aaron Jones, 3 of them to 3 passing touchdowns to Aaron Jones for Aaron Rodgers. So a lot of dinking and dunking that game. Not mad at him for that at all, of course. Aaron, as for any week besides last week, we saw what happened with the Saints, usually a valuable candidate for Mr. Slang That Thing. Let's get to the comment section right quick. Lee says Derek Carr, I think, is Mr. Slang That Thing both for the first 2 weeks, beating Baltimore and Pittsburgh on the road, leading the league by far in yards. Yes, he is.
Okay, so actually, I love that Lee said that because he was definitely in the running for me, especially because he went on the road and beat Pittsburgh on the road. Now, for week 1, I didn't give it to him in week 1 because overtime counts for something, man. All those yards that he got, that's because he wasn't able to put it away in the regulation. So he actually got negative points because he had to go to overtime. And then he choked it the first time. So then he got an extra drive and then got to throw the touchdown pass in the extra drive. So the man got negative points for not being able to close it out. He wasn't Mr. Slang That Thing because Mr. Slang That Thing doesn't need to go to overtime and then choke it away and then win it because he got lucky. That's all I got to say about that one. So, Lee, I like how you're thinking, except for week 1. That's not Mr. Slang That Thing for me. That was Mr. Choking that thing.
I'll say this about Derek Carr. And we'll read this comment from Lee right quick. He said, I like that stipulation. I'll say week 2 then. But I'll say this about Derek Carr. I don't know if anybody saw this, but they talked about the last time the Raiders have gone 2-0. The first time they did it, which was 2017. 2016, they finished 6-10. They did in 2017, finished 8-8. 2019, finished 8-8. I'm not sold at all. It's 2 weeks into the season. I'm not sold on a lot of teams right now still yet because it's still 2 weeks to the season. Just like last week when everybody was going crazy about one game, it's the same as going on right now. I've talked to you for years now. If anybody knows me, I say it all the time. I wait till week 6 to judge any football team because we saw what happened last season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were looking shaky in the beginning of the season. They got everything rolling. They got everything rocking. And ended up being, of course, Super Bowl champions last season. It can happen for any other team this season as well besides Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm not about to put that much stock into 2 games. But for Derek Carr, hell of a performance, both games from the Raiders and also Pittsburgh Steelers going over to Pittsburgh and winning that game. Hell of a performance, but in the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. I need to see that in week 15, week 16, week 17, and week 18 before I can say, you know what, I trust y'all. And for my Mr. Slain That Thing award, I'm not gonna lie, it was gonna be Tom Brady. I was gonna throw Tom Brady in there, but I feel like that would have been too easy. I'm gonna go with a guy. Because I know some people out here feel like I'm hating on him or I feel some type of way about what he did to my team last week, but I'm not. I'm not. I respect this young little toddler. Okay, I respect Baby Yoda. I respect this little video game damn character of a man that just out here making people look silly. It's just disrespectful. I don't know. I don't know why he is doing what he is doing, but he
like
makes
that.
grown people look like the size that he is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that don't make any sense, but it makes sense to me. He's making grown people look like little kids going out there trying to tackle him. Okay, and Kyler Murray for last 2 weeks, as Lee would say about Derek Carr. I mean, damn, he's been on fire. Yes, he's throwing the ball. He's turning the ball over. But when it's a play that needs to be made, he's gonna make that play. And he played very on Sunday, and for some reason, it just seems like he reminds me, and don't get this wrong. I mean, sorry, don't misconstrue what I'm gonna say. He reminds me of the football version of Steph Curry. What I mean by that is he make plays where you're just like, oh, don't do that, and you're just like, oh, wait, whoa, never mind, do that. Doing what you're doing because only you can do that. Like with Steph, it was like, why are you doing that? Why are you dribbling? Don't shoot it from that range. But when he makes it, it's like, okay, well, I guess you can do that. That's what I see with Kyler Murray. It's like you're not supposed to do the things you're supposed to do, but he's doing them, and it's very, very amazing. And that's why I'm giving my Mr. Slain That Thing award to Mr. Kyler Murray.
I respect that. I respect that Kyler Murray pick. The only thing that made me not choose Kyler Murray, because when you look at the stats, 29 for 36, 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, man, it was hard to overlook that. But then I saw those 2 interceptions, and it just continues the turnover from week 1. I mean, yeah, he's doing his thing and he's getting all these yards and they're winning right now. But I'm thinking to myself, like, man, you keep turning the ball over like that, it could come back to hurt you. I mean, it almost did 34-33. It was really
tight. It was tight.
So, I mean, that's the only thing for me with Kyler Murray. I mean, if he can clean up the interceptions, then for sure. I mean, he might be in the running for the overall Mr. Slaying That Thing of the year, but I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see on those turnovers for me. But this one definitely was a really good game. I enjoyed watching the Cardinals and the Vikings and Kirk Cousins.
I was gonna say the same thing. Captain Kirk, man. Hey, I'm not mad at you, sir.
He's trying, man.
He's trying. He's trying, but here's another one. I need to see week 14, 15, 16. Just saying. You know how he is. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic for the night. See, what happened was, and I love this one because the best thing about this topic is I know you have one. I know for sure I have me a game where I just looked at it myself and said, you know what? I don't know why I did that, but see what had happened was, and that's why we went ahead and picked and got this topic. Ish, you want to go ahead and start on this one?
Yeah, I got you for sure. There was one game in particular that I just honestly, I knew for sure it fit in this category for me. If anybody watched our preview show on Sunday, then you might already know what game I'm talking about because I was mad disrespectful in this one. I chose the opposite team. I chose the Bengals to beat the Bears. And not only did I choose the Bengals to beat the Bears, I went ahead and called the Bears defense aging, declining playoff defense. I was talking real disrespectful about the Bears defense. And see what had happened was I just think that at the time I was in a different place, okay? I was in a different place. I was riding high off of week 1. I might have slightly overreacted to what I saw from Joe Burrow and the young receiving core, Joe Mixon, all those guys. You know, I just thought it was something that it actually turned out not to be because 4 turnovers by that Bears defense. Yeah, they definitely made me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. So definitely see what happened was I was wrong. Bears defense, y'all the real deal. Okay, y'all good.
Well, um, I actually thought you were going with a different game, not that one. Actually,
Oh,
I thought you were going 49ers Eagles.
oh no
I mean, you was on the
no.
show chanting EAGLES Eagles out here. I mean, I thought you were a homer for it. I thought you flying to Philly for a cheesesteak. But
Okay. See, that one, I'm not as disappointed in that one as I was in my Bears pick because
okay.
honestly, the Eagles played them really well the first half, and then it just all went downhill from there. And I don't know what happened exactly. Um, yeah, that one was a little puzzling, but it wasn't as bad as the Bears pick for me.
See, I easily could go Lions Packers game because I was the idiot that picked the Lions. But hey, I would have been a genius if they would have won, and I would have been like, "Hey, look at me! I picked the right team." But I'm going to, of course, have to go with the Patriots and the Jets.
Oh yes. Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Oh man, I was so happy you said that, sir. I'm so glad because
Yeah.
with the 4
See
interceptions and
what
4
happened
completions.
was, um, the 6 points that got put up, I could have put those up.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4 interceptions that Zach Wilson threw, I could have threw those. Um, 19 for 33, 210 yards, 4 interceptions by Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a point because we see what Sam Darnold is doing in Carolina. I'm at a point is it the New York Jets that's cursed? Is Zach Wilson just not that good? Are the Jets just not that good? Like I'm trying to figure this all out. That's all. So I drank a little bit of the Zach Wilson Kool-Aid. I'll be out here the first person to admit that. I've been drinking a little bit of the Zach Wilson Kool-Aid. I'm going to get off of the Colt juice because a little Colt-ish and BYU. I'm just leaving that alone. Leave that stuff alone there, and we're going to take a couple steps back from the New York Jets, and we're going to let them do what they do and go ahead and keep losing games and let them be back top 3 in the next year's draft because that's where they are definitely headed. Because this was not a game at all. This was a beatdown at home too against the Patriots, and for the rest of the season for the New York Jets, it's going to get ugly.
So let me just ask you: is this see what had happened was just for week 2, or is this also for week 1? Where, if I recall, you also chose the Jets and lost that pick as well. So I mean, explain to me: is this like you realize now that you should probably stay away from this team, or you just gonna say it's only for week 2 and maybe moving forward, you know?
Well, the only reason why, honestly, I'm even rooting very, very minutely for the Jets is because I have Corey Davis on my fantasy team. So I need Corey Davis to get him his touches. I'm just being honest. Hey, I'm just being honest. Corey Davis did his thug dizzle on week 1, week 2, not so much.
Oh, we can definitely talk about that later on when
And we will
get to the
when we talk
fantasy
about
standings.
fantasy. Yes, we will. But moving forward, they are going to have to earn these hard knocks together as a team. First year head coach, first year quarterback, young team on both sides of the ball. It's one of those things where this team is just going to take their lumps from everybody else because they're in a division where all 3 teams are better than them. They might get swept by all 3 teams, honestly, at this point, and it's just not looking good for the Jets. So we're gonna move on. We don't need to talk about this team anymore. We don't need to talk about me talking about this team because I'm a fool. I probably won't be going for the Jets anymore anytime soon moving forward. And Zach Wilson, I need you to throw the ball to Corey Davis a little bit more. Thank you very much. All right, Lee says, let's go X. There we go. Of course, talk about me talking about the sorry New York Jets. Chad says both New York teams are cursed. Obina says, Zach, you don't have a line, bro. This is very true, but got to get in where you fit in. Kind of the same thing with Trevor Lawrence got going on in Jacksonville. And Mr. Michael Lewis says Robert Slay should have stayed our defensive coordinator. Of course, you're talking about in San Francisco. He needs a better O-line in New York City with the Jets. Of course, we can all agree on that with the New York Jets. And Not just a better line, probably a better little bit of everything. Man, Ish, that was not a fun topic right there. But at the end of the day, Ish, you gotta take your L's, you gotta take your lumps, and that's to be able to make it to the mountaintop and be able to play on prime time and
Oh
play
yeah,
in a game of the week.
game of the
And it
week.
doesn't matter if you played on a Sunday night, a Monday night, a Thursday night. We want to highlight the game of the week on this week two of NFL football. And Ish, you went the last couple of times. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
ahead and go
go ahead and start this one
first.
off.
I'm gonna go ahead and go first. And look, it's easy. It's two easy games for me to pick.
Okay.
The one on Sunday night, and it's easy for me to pick the Titans and Seahawks because I'm a Titans fan.
Of
But
course.
I'm gonna go with a little bit of the razzle dazzle, and I'm gonna surprise everybody. I'm gonna stay on the Kyler Murray train for the show. I'm gonna go Vikings Cardinals. I'm gonna go
Okay.
Vikings Cardinals because nobody expected the Vikings to do what they did in this game. I think a lot of people expected the Vikings to come in there and maybe put up 18 points, 21 points, take that L and keep it moving. But I'm pretty sure most people, if they're not a Vikings or a Cardinals fan, was probably watching the score on the game ticker to see, like, man, these Vikings are actually putting up some points to get the Cardinals. And then when we actually tune into the game, the Vikings were playing really well against the Cardinals on both sides of the ball. It just unfortunately, of course, could not get the job done. But I'm very impressed with what I've seen with the Vikings last couple of weeks. I don't know if they'll be able to win the division, of course, because of that bad man we talked about, Aaron Rodgers. And I'll be honest with you, Ish, I don't even know if they'll be able to even get a wild card spot in the NFC because it's just so tough in the NFC this season. So what it all comes back around is, what do the Minnesota Vikings do with Kirk Cousins? Do you keep him and just be good enough and hope somebody gets hurt, down the season, and hopefully we get a chance to sneak in there and maybe make a run? Do you just keep on trying for another 2 or 3 more years and just wait for Kirk Cousins to retire and then you move on there? Or do you go out and maybe go get a Deshaun Watson, right? Maybe go to the draft and start over again. Yes, I know that face, but I'm just saying, maybe if you put up that cachet to go get Deshaun Watson, or even like Neil says as well, maybe go bring in Cam. I don't think that's a possible situation, but hey, the fans want it. People might want Cam to play in that purple, but I just feel like this game was a very underrated game. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this game for me was the game of the week.
Yeah, I love that pick because, like you said, I mean, if you aren't a Cardinals or Vikings fan, you might not have been tuning into the game. But definitely crazy, crazy game. For Minnesota, you got to feel for them because it puts them in such a hole in that NFC North, especially with the Bears playing the way that they came back and started playing this week. The way that Joe Burrow and that not Joe Burrow, man.
Don't
What
hurt
am I
yourself over there.
talking about over there, man? I'm wilding out. Anyway, the way Jared Goff played against
There you go.
Aaron Rodgers this week, you definitely have to think to yourself, like, hey, Detroit may actually be competing with Minnesota for third in that division. So man, you got to feel for them. I don't know what they do with Kirk Cousins. I definitely feel like this is his last year to do something. They've got to make the playoffs or they got to turn away from him. And like you said, man, yeah, it's just heartbreaking over there for them.
Neil says Texans game definitely game of the week. LOL.
So before I get to my game of the week, let me just say something about that Texans game, okay?
Uh-oh.
Let me say something about the Texans game. And maybe I'm just going to, just hear me out, everybody.
Don't hurt
Hear
yourself.
me out. I'm referring to them as the Texans, as you know. I was previously referring to them as the organization in Houston, which part of me still wants to refer to them as that. But I will respectfully call them the Texans now. But I do have to say this for everybody that's watching. I actually respect this Texans team. I actually respect them. I respect David Coley. I think that maybe the organization knew what they were doing when they went and got a figurehead. They didn't get a guy that's actually a head coach that's got his hands in the pot as far as like I don't think he's really doing a lot of the game planning and anything like that. but they went and got a good figurehead. I mean, if you were watching that game, there was a whole ordeal that happened that I actually was like, when it happened, I thought it was a little weird. I kind of turned my head to the side like this, and I was like,
You talking
But
about the 4th and 2 play?
no. But then as it went on, I was like, I could respect that. No, so they kind of got into a situation after a play where the players got into a little fisticuffs and they were talking to each other and jibber jabbering, and people were pushing each other, and the refs were trying to step in there. And if you weren't watching the game, you missed it. But David Coley, the head coach of the Houston Texans, walked all the way out into the middle of the field to confront his own players and tell them to stop. I mean, it was actually like no joke. I was looking at it and I was like, wait, what? I have never seen a head coach walk all the way. And when I say all the way to the middle of the field, all the way in the middle of the field, he walked in the middle of the field, told his players to calm down. I mean, it looked like he was giving them a serious talking to, like, hey, you know, we don't do that, so on and so forth. Behave yourself. Kind of like your mom scolding you when you were a little kid in the store if you were acting up, and like just letting you know, hey, come on now, you got home training. And then he just walked back to the sideline. And I actually watched that whole thing happen. And I was like, I respect that, man. I respect that he has it. For some reason, I feel like he has brought something to the Texans that Bill O'Brien just could not bring. They are a disciplined bunch. They know the task at hand. They come in ready to play. They have a fire. You can tell that they got this us against the world mentality. And honestly speaking, I never thought I would say this. If Tyrod Taylor hadn't got hurt, I think that's a different game in the second half. The Texans possibly could have won that game in the second half. Because if you go back and you look at what Tyrod Taylor finished with, man, that man could have won Mr. Slang That Thing, and he deserves an honorable mention for Mr. Slang That Thing. Because he actually was balling out that first half and keeping them in that game, and they could have won that game if he was still in that game.
After 2 weeks, I'm very impressed from what I see from the Houston Texans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I wasn't joking around at all last week when I told everybody that they are the AFC South division leaders at the moment after week 1, because they put on a hell of a performance against Jacksonville Jaguars.
Man, they
put on another hell of a performance against the Cleveland Browns in a loss. In a loss. So I'm impressed from what I see, and if this is a rebuild from the Texans, then if I'm a Texan fan, hey, be impressed from what you see.
Yeah, I'm actually like, hey, maybe we got something.
Yeah,
maybe we got something. But anyway, for me to go on to my game.
My bad. Let me. Yeah, my bad. Before you do that, let me just get to the comment section right quick. Obina says Cam should go to the Jets or Texans, and Michael Lewis also said Detroit's the best 0-2 team so far. I'll have to disagree with him on that. I will say the best 0-2 team so far at the moment would be either the Colts or the maybe even the Minnesota Vikings. That's just my opinion. And also, Bina says Tyrod has always been hurt. He always gets the short end of the stick. Very true. Your game of the week is?
Yeah, my game of the week. I know you couldn't pick it because you didn't want to be a homer, but it has to be the Tennessee Titans, aka the Tennessee Oilers, winning that overtime game against the Seattle Seahawks. And it's my game of the week for a number of reasons. Not only because we both picked the Seattle Seahawks to win that game and then we're wrong. Not only because it went to overtime, but it had to be the game of the week for me because it was how this team reacted. We talked about it. We talked about it in the preview show. We said, we're going to learn a lot about the Tennessee Titans this week. We're going to learn what they're made of. We're going to learn whether or not they truly are contenders in the AFC, whether they can really make it far like everybody thinks they can, whether they're that team that we thought they were before the season started when they made that trade for Julio Jones. We were all watching. We all wanted to see, how do you respond after that butt whipping that you got in week 1, right, from Kyler Murray? And they only went down early in the game. I mean, they were down, and I was looking like 24-9 at halftime. This is not the kind of game that I was expecting from them.
Not good at all.
And then to storm back, they held the Seahawks to only 6 points in the second half. to storm back and beat them in overtime, oh, it had to be the game of the week for me. Mr. King Henry, welcome back, sir. You and all your subjects there on the offensive line, y'all came back and stormed in and, I mean, conquered Seattle. Y'all conquered that team. I'm excited about it. I'm back on the bandwagon with my boys in Tennessee, the Oilers. We're going to win it all. The Oilers to the Super Bowl. Oilers to the Super Bowl.
Stay with your Chiefs. We're not doing that. Stay with your Chiefs, sir. Albina says Tyler Lockett is a dog. He needs more praise. Underrated, of course. I definitely agree with that. He's always been that guy for Russell Wilson. Lee says Julio turned back the clock. That had to have made Titan fans feel real good. Yes, I definitely agree with that one, Lee. And also, Michael says, as long as the Titans don't kill us in the Bay Area, of course, he's talking about his 49ers.
Oh, y'all getting killed.
And Chad says Julio caught it. Of course, he's talking about that play in the back of the end zone where the ref said he didn't catch it, but we all know they did. Hey, look, the refs were not on one, not just in that game, but in games all around the NFL. But I will say this again. Let's remind everybody, because I'm speaking about the refs, not just with the plays. I'm sorry, the calls that they haven't made. They're also making a lot more calls on the unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting. Right? There are a lot of flags being called just due to it being a new rule. If anybody that knows anything about the NFL, we all know that these calls will get called a lot more in the beginning of the season, and they will suffice more in the later on in the season, and then in the playoffs you really won't see them like that. Because if you saw on Sunday Night Football, if I want to remind anybody, if you saw Sunday Night Football, after Lamar Jackson not just flipped into the end zone, which he didn't get a penalty for that, but also launched the football into the air, he didn't get a penalty for that. So that's definitely taunted like a mug. So for what it seems like to me is a lot of these calls are very subjective, and they're going to call it when it's third quarter, 8 minutes left to go in the game. But if it's a crucial moment between Mahomes and Josh Allen, they're not going to call that just due to just ratings type stuff, right?
Yeah,
you know how it is when it comes to the refs controlling things.
Consistency for me.
That too.
Because what was the one penalty where the dude he spun the ball and then they threw a flag on that for taunting? And I was like, I have never seen somebody like that. Is the weakest taunt I've ever seen.
But that's the unfortunate new rules. Of course, man. We all feel like they should let the kids play. They should let them be kids. But you let
Lamar flip into the end zone and throw the ball into the stands and everything. That's not taunting now.
I agree.
So we're gonna taunt. We're gonna call taunting for somebody spinning the ball after getting a first down.
When you spin your body, they don't get the same thing. I know. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Obina says they held my boy Julio, fellow Aquarius, same birthday, I think. And Michael says, I agree, fellas.
How you don't know your own birthday, Obina?
I think he's talking about Julio. All right, this is a great topic because you stupid. This is a great topic because it's not just for us, but it's also for everybody that's tuning in. So if you are, of course, tuning in live, and if you are, of course, tuning in on the podcast later on, please let us know who will be the last team to remain undefeated. The 49ers, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Broncos, the Buccaneers, the Panthers, or the Raiders.
The Raiders.
For everybody, again, that's tuning in, let us know who you think will be the last team undefeated. Let's go to the comment section right quick. They are talking about what we spoke on previously. Lee says, I need a quick segment on the Saints and Jameis. Y'all boys gave him a nice amount of praise last week. The Panthers D might be serious. We'll get into that very shortly. Chad says they relaxed on the rules on touchdown celebrations, but now taking this hard stance. And Mr. Michael Lewis says Bucks or the Brady kids, a.k.a. the Brady bunch, the Brady kids. I'm assuming, of course, he means the Buccaneers. Ish, who do you think will remain undefeated? Or be the last team remaining undefeated, I should say.
This one was a tough one for me because, clearly I could go with the obvious pick that a lot of people would choose in the defending Super Bowl champs, the Buccaneers. And there's very valid reasons for why you would choose them as the last team to be undefeated, considering they brought the entire Super Bowl winning team back, or all the starters at least. I thought about that for a long time. I was like, maybe. But then I went back to my senses and said, I don't really like Tom Brady, so I'm not going to do that. And then I looked at the NFC West, and I was like, man, those three teams, I think that they got it. But then I remembered that they all have to play each other. So
Yep,
then I
yep.
said, yeah, never mind. The three of y'all are probably out of there because y'all gonna beat up on each other. Which left me with the Panthers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. And I was thinking to myself, and I was like, well, maybe. But then I remembered the Raiders and the Broncos have to play the Chiefs, although that defense is absolutely horrendous. So I was like, maybe they have a chance, but not really. So I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers.
All right, all right, all right. So, of course, you're not going off of the team. You're going off of what you see remaining schedule wise and what team, I guess, is trending upwards as well. Because, unfortunately, I think I might have to agree with you. Unfortunately, I think I might have to go with the Carolina Panthers. Yes, it's easy to pick the Buccaneers and what they're doing. But I just think, I mean, just like we saw last season, they're going to give up some games. And I wouldn't be surprised if they lose not next week or not even in week 4. I think they beat the Patriots in New England, but I think they'll lose, maybe week 5 or week 6, right? But if you look at the Carolina Panthers schedule, play the Texans Thursday Night Football, play the Cowboys week 4, play the Eagles week 5, you play the Vikings week 6, you play the Giants week 7, you play the Falcons week 8, and you play the Patriots week 9. And then your real test, again, I know, of course, the real test will be the Cowboys and also the Patriots, but the real test really would be the Arizona Cardinals in week 10. That's your real test. If you can get past them, I mean, you got Washington football teams, Miami Dolphins, Atlanta Falcons again, and the Buffalo Bills coming up. But realistically, it could be the Buccaneers or the Carolina Panthers. But of course, both of them have to play each other. That'll be towards the end of the season. They'll play each other week 16 and week 18 of the season. So we don't have to worry about those two. But I think it will be the Carolina Panthers in a very random way this season. All right, let's go ahead and get to the comment section. Obina says the Bucks for show. They have an easy road. Chad Bogue says the Cardinals. Obina says you don't like Tom Brady. Issue a hater. And Michael Lewis also says no sir. Panthers have Bucks twice. Yes, that is later on in the season.
At the end of the season,
so they have a chance. And Obina says Cards have a chance, Kyler being an MVP candidate. Yes, I can definitely agree with that as well, boss. Alrighty, then let's get into our next topic of the night, overreaction after week 2. And that's a great segue to what, of course, our boy Mr. Lee said about Jameis and the Saints. And I can easily tie that into what we're speaking of now. And I'll go ahead. You know what? I seriously appreciate Lee for saying that, because I'll go first and I'll say it. Okay, I'll say it for Jameis. Okay, I'll be the first one to say, look, I maybe overreacted just a little bit after week 1 of Jameis. Okay, my apologies. Okay, but I still believe. Okay, I'm not hopping off. Oh yeah, me all you want to. I still believe. I'm not hopping off the Jameis train. Y'all can do it. Y'all haters can do it all you want to. I'm not gonna give up on my boy Jameis. Dang it. Okay, with that being said, again, only 2 weeks. We're gonna see what happens by week 12. We're gonna be here. I ain't going nowhere, Ish. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna go down with the Titanic ship. If Jameis goes down, I'm gonna go down with him, okay? No homo, pause. But the point is, what I'm saying is that my overreaction is, yes, thinking that the Saints were going to just walk into Carolina being down eight coaches due to COVID, being down multiple players, being down just being off on the road and not being at home, getting some home cooking. I think this is something that's going to have to be looked out for the Saints on if this is going to take a toll on them, because they're supposed to be back into their stadium next week. But of course, we saw a fire. I don't know if you tuned in on Sports Center lately, but there was a fire at the Superdome apparently. So maybe that pushes back them still coming back into rejoining that facility to be able to play home games again. I hope that can get some home cooking a lot sooner than later. But at the moment, Jameis is my overreaction.
Let me just say this, bro, because while you're doubling down over here on Jameis Winston, I was never really high on him to begin with, Lee. So let me just give that disclaimer. X was trying to convince me. He's been trying to convince me, and
Hey,
I for
we
some
still got
reason
16 more weeks, baby.
I for some reason trusted him. But let me just say this for you, X, who's gonna not jump off the Jameis train.
Nope.
Are you not at all concerned? Just 259 yards after 2 weeks. Does that not concern you?
Man, look, we gotta understand and realize games differ due to how the games are. That first game, he had great field position. You can't make a guy throw for 400 yards if you already starting on your the other team's 35-yard line every series. I mean, come on, you can't. I'm not mad at Jameis for putting up how many yards you said in 2 weeks? I mean,
259.
Okay, again, 259. Who cares?
It was only 111 in week 2 when you were behind. You were coming from behind. 111 and 2 interceptions, and you still on the Jameis train. Obviously, the eye surgery didn't work, okay? If we're being honest with ourselves, obviously, whoever he went to get his LASIK eye surgery was a quack. The dude didn't know what he was doing.
I have a question, though. I have a question for you, Ish. Can we at least give a little bit of respect to the Carolina Panthers defense and what they made Jameis do?
What did they make Jameis do?
They made him look frantic and play like Jameis wasn't playing last week because let me finish.
Like Jameis Winston. Oh, whoopee! Good job, Carolina, on making Jameis look like Jameis.
Anyways, he made Jameis look very suspect because their defense is very good. It looks like it's a very top tier defense in the NFL after 2 weeks, and if they can continue to do this, maybe Carolina could be that second or third team in the NFC South battling with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We don't know yet. We have to wait and see, of course. But the Carolina Panthers, you have to put a little bit more respect on their names and stop talking down on James. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let me just say this right now, okay?
What's up?
Do you know who Carolina played in the first 2 weeks?
They played the Saints.
And who did they play in week 1?
The Jets.
What? Easily, I could be the number 1 defense.
Here we go.
Defense if I played the Jets and I played New Orleans with a blind quarterback, okay? We got a guy back there that can't see, and everybody's talking about Carolina being the number 1 defense. Listen, sure, it's the NFL. I'm going to give some respect where respect is due.
It don't sound like it.
You still got to go out and play the game. So, yeah, I'm giving them the respect, but I'm just saying, you did it against a blind quarterback and obviously against one who threw 4 interceptions the next week. How much respect can I give you? How much respect can I give you when we got New England making the other guy you played throw 4 interceptions, and then you got the blind guy back there who had the least amount of passing yards for a 5-touchdown game? This is the guy that we're gonna say, like, oh wow, we gotta really respect this defense here. Like, come on, bro. That's an overreaction right there. That's another overreaction from you. Oh, Carolina, they may have a Super Bowl defense here.
I didn't say that. I never said that once. See, now you put words in my mouth, sir.
Sure you did.
Run the tape back.
We can run it back all you want to. You over here talking about them having a Super Bowl defense and whatnot. No, man. No, I don't care about that. Go ahead, read the comment.
Chad says, yes, they will be playing in the dome still. It was minor damage to the roof. Thank you, Chad, for that. Mike Lewis also says, Jameis and Hyde, week to week, the Saints have home issues. First Ida runs them away, and today the dome caught on fire. Now Jameis, yes, of course. And also Fractured Walnut says, and now they got the Texans. Panthers are the biggest fakers this year. Hey, we will see Thursday Night Football. I agree, Fractured Walnut. We know, of course, that's Julius. I agree, man. I think Thursday night is gonna be a very underrated good game on Thursday.
No, it's not.
Yes.
David Mills is starting at quarterback.
I don't care who started, okay?
Oh goodness. We already saw this kid come in against Cleveland. We saw what he could do. I mean, he threw an interception. Yeah, he had the one.
Okay, again, we're gonna see if the Carolina Panthers defense is for real or not. If they're gonna make him look trash, or if he's gonna come in and be that 4th round quarterback the Texans wanted him to be.
A 4th round rookie quarterback is who.
Hey, that's what the Houston Texans wanted. The Texans wanted that
man.
first pick to be a quarterback, and that's what they gonna get. Okay.
I'm disappointed in you, sir. If we're really gonna say that Thursday night,
We need to move on, sir. Okay, we need to move on. You need to stop.
Yeah, let's just.
You
Okay,
need to stop.
My overreaction. After, go ahead, read this one.
I was going to read this one as well. Fracture One also says, "What do you think about David Culley declining that penalty that would have given them 3rd and 2 instead of 4th and 10 and having a punt?"
Let me just say this, Brad. He was the passing game coordinator for Lamar Jackson and Baltimore last year, and we saw how that worked out. Obviously, that man should not be making the major decisions. Like I said before, I respect him as a figurehead, as a guy that's like rallying the troops around. But as far as like game plan and game time decisions and that stuff, they really should not be. They should not leave that in his hands. Please let the coordinators handle that. Lovie Smith, can we show some respect to my man Lovie Smith? Lovie Smith, welcome back to the NFL, sir. You have been doing a wonderful job with that defense that was actually horrendous last year, and they're actually playing somewhat good defense. So we're going to see how they're going to do against Carolina, but definitely not Carolina defense against this rookie quarterback.
You like that kiss to the chef? Is that what you're saying? That's what you're doing right there? I see you. All right. Chad also says, Ish talking to you like Shannon Sharp. Skip, come on, Skip. Yeah, this is a better show. This ain't that other show on Fox. This is X talking. This is what we do over here, son. Fracture One also says he had no snaps with the first team. Texans are gonna get washed. Bean also says I want to be on the podcast.
We'll set that up.
And Michael Lewis also says Texans should pick Kellen Mond from A&M. Mills need more work before a starter. Texans should have gotten Teddy while he was free. Hey, that's here and there. Hindsight is always 2020. Ish, your overreaction week 2.
My overreaction after week 2. The Raiders are going to win the AFC West. The Raiders will win the AFC West. It's kind of a 2-part overreaction. Number 1, the Raiders are going to win the AFC West. Number 2, the Chiefs will not go to the Super Bowl. They'll probably lose in whatever round they play in whether that be the first round or if they somehow get the bye. Actually, I don't think they're going to get the bye. So the first round they'll lose because that defense is not a playoff defense. That defense is terrible. When you get a pick 6 and then you get another interception and then you proceed to allow a team to run up and down the field on you, you made Lamar Jackson look like he was Tom Brady. I'm just sorry. The Raiders are the real deal. They will win the AFC West, and the Chiefs. We
got some folks on here letting you know, Ish. What are you talking about? We got Michael Lewis saying, Ish.
Hey. It's the overreaction for week 2. Obviously, it's just week 2. There's a lot of football left to go.
Chad says, you think them losing to the Ravens is a sign of regression?
I think them losing to the Ravens is just adding on to what happened in week 1. Now, you could say they played against 2 of the best rushing teams in the NFL, which obviously your defense is going to look very poor against 2. If your weakness is run defense and you play 2 of the best run defenses, obviously you're going to look horrible. So maybe they will improve going forward. We'll have to wait and see. Frank Clark, this was his first week back. Tyrann Mathieu, this was his first week back. He only went on to have 2 picks. So
and a
welcome
pick
back. And a pick 6. So, welcome back to him. But, of course, they're still integrating everybody back into it. So, we got to wait and see. It's just an overreaction, guys. It's an overreaction. I'm not really serious in these things. I'm just kind of overreacting to what I saw from week 2.
Albina says, I think the Ravens will go to Super Bowl this year. He also said, X, what do you think about Lamar? I'll just keep it short and quick because we have a couple more topics for tonight before we end this for tonight. Honestly, I'm happy for Lamar. I'm happy he's finally able to get this quote-unquote monkey off his back to finally beat the Chiefs. It's only taken him, 6 chances now? He's now 1-5 against the Chiefs, or 1-4. The point is, everybody, let's please calm down and relax. This is week 2. Again, I'm happy for Lamar. I'm not going to take anything away from him because anytime you say anything bad about Lamar, everybody call you a hater. So congratulations for Lamar. Let's see if you can keep on doing this. But I'm just mainly worried about, will the Ravens run him into the ground having this style of offense all 18 weeks of the season because they don't have their J.K. Dobbins anymore and Hill and the backfield that they wanted to have coming into this season to take the pressure off of Lamar Jackson. Now it is Lamar Jackson in company, and I don't think that's a great recipe for success moving forward going into the playoffs. I think he's a dynamic player. I think, of course, he is who he is. He's Lamar Jackson. He's not Michael Vick. He's not Steve McNair. He's not Russell Wilson. He's Lamar Jackson. Let's appreciate him for who he is, and let's have fun watching him. But as a quarterback in the NFL, you still have to throw the ball consistently from the pocket, and you're still going to have to figure out how to make sure that you can make those necessary timely throws to win you the ball game at the quarterback position. That is all from me. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. And Fracture Water also says Chiefs got to put Jones back in the middle of that defense. Is in trouble far as the run game goes. Michael Lewis also says both of you need to be guest hosts on my show, Sports Zone Sunday show. Just let us know. We'll definitely be a part of that. No problems. Obina says don't sleep on Devontae Freeman. He was good. Cold with the Falcons. Lee says I'm sleeping on Devontae Freeman because he's trash. Or I'm sorry, he was trash. Well, that's everybody's opinion. We'll have to see what Devontae Freeman brings to the table with a new opportunity with the Ravens. Ever since he got that money from Atlanta, man, he has not been rushed. I mean, he took his money and did not run worse than Chris Johnson when he took his money from Tennessee and did not run it all afterwards. So we'll have to see what happens with him. Of course, they have Le'Veon Bell. We'll see if Le'Veon Bell will be able to fit what they want to do in Baltimore. Just, of course, only a matter of time. Of course, before we get up out of here tonight, we want to show y'all our picks, our records at the moment for our 2021 pick'ems. After week 2, I am in the lead with 19 wins, 13 losses. Ish is at 17-15 at the moment, but we have plenty of games to go moving forward, so that will change, of course, week by week. And, of course, to update everybody on our fantasy football league of X Talking Ish fantasy football standings at the moment in the AFC side, and Colonel Flanders Chicken is at 2-0. Thanos was right is at 1-1. Just Another Title Run is at 1-1. CD's Nuts is at 1-1. Dat Man Dooley is 0-2, and B Rocka is 0-2. On the NFC side, Club Shay Shay is at 2-0. Brady's Mavericks is at 2-0. Smokey Joe 1-1. Kiss the Baby is at 1-1. Bishop Sycamore is at 1-1, and Bay Area Bully is at 0-2. All righty then.
Hey, don't just glaze over the fact that my team scored the most points this week in fantasy. I was also the best manager while you were the worst manager.
I'm about to bring it up.
Bring down, it. Nah.
I actually, you haven't. I wasn't about to go anywhere. Calm down.
You trying to skip over it. Nah, I wanted to make sure people knew.
Oh, Lord.
Because y'all are all talking down on me after week 1, and I was the lowest scoring manager in week 1. Yeah, I already knew. I said trust the process. I know what I'm doing. I went and I talked to the guys in the locker room, and I told them, guys, we're playing for something here, all right? You can't have me looking bad on the podcast, and look what happened, man. We came out and scored the most points in the league.
All righty then, Ish. We will back you up on this one. The awards for this week for the Fans Football X Talking Ish Fans Football League. The best manager is CD's Nuts. Worst manager, Dat Man Dooley. Biggest blowout, Colonel Flanders over B Rocka. Narrows victory, Just Another Title Run over Bishop Sycamore. Highest scorer, Kiss the Baby. Lowest scorer, Thanos was right. Overachiever, Kiss the Baby. Below expectation, Thanos was right. So, as y'all can see and as y'all can hear, your boy X did not have a good week. Man, Ish, they got me either with the pick'ems because I definitely went a couple ways that I should not have gone with the Jets and a couple other choices.
Oh, you were riding with the Jets again, huh?
Yes, that will not do that week 3. But overall, I feel like I'm doing pretty decent. I feel like it could be a better record, but we're going to go with the record that we have at the moment. We're going to get better moving forward, just like all the other teams in the NFL. Everybody going to get better week in, week out. We're going to have to put the work in, all right? If we don't put the work in, how we going to get better, Ish?
That's true. That's why my team bounced back, and we in the tougher division, so it's gonna be a long year for us. Y'all go over there cruising. I mean, I can't believe you lost a game on that side of the division, but
Can you stop, sir? Worry about you got going on over there, okay?
I mean, that side of the league, I don't know what y'all got going on over there, but
all right.
We got winners on our side. I mean, we might just take all the playoff spots this year.
And then you woke up. All right, let's get to the comment section before we get up out of here for the night. Michael Lewis says Mark Ingram should go back to Baltimore. Maybe we'll see.
Hey, he's been running hard though.
He has been. Obina says, like the emojis, y'all show is dope. We appreciate that, Obina. Chad also says I'm also 1-1 in his league as well. Lee says, why Ish only laughed when you said Dooley's record? Hey, they're cousins, so that must be a cousin
I had to get on my cousin a little bit.
Exactly. Obina also says they traded Ingram because of age. He about to be 32, and they already had J.K. Dobbins to replace him.
Yeah.
Of course, we do know that's what happened, but hey, now is where they are right now.
Yeah,
so
now it looks bad. Now it looks
a little
bad
different
because they got hurt, but.
Yes, but I don't think the Texans trade him back to the Ravens. I think the Texans are going to keep him. Of course,
they're going to keep all 10 of their running backs.
Yes. Of course, Mark Ingram has been a little bit of a bell cow for the Houston Texans, and hey, Ish, this is week 2. This is another crazy week in the NFL. Can't wait to see what week 3 brings us.
Thursday,
and Thursday starts it off. Do you have anything to tell the folks before we get up out of here for maybe a preview on Thursday Night Football? Right here in Houston, Texas.
David Mills is starting at quarterback.
So what you saying is breakout game for David Mills is going to put on for the city? Is that what you're saying? No? All right.
David Mills is starting at quarterback.
Davis. I never seen anybody first name named Davis. That's new.
I'm gonna keep calling him David. David Mills is starting at quarterback.
Being real
Deshaun Watson, please stop it, man. Just come back. Just please, man.
Michael Lewis says score Carolina 24, Houston 10.
Don't make us watch this, please, Deshaun. Please talk to him. I mean, do something, please. I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch this on Thursday. Another NFL. Why?
All right. And on that note, as y'all can see, Ishmael's a little emotional. So we're gonna go ahead and get off the pod because we're gonna let Ish cry offline and not in front of you guys.
I don't want to watch this
because men have feelings too, and he's not feeling this game on Thursday night.
I'm tired of watching these.
We're gonna go ahead and move along. We appreciate everybody. See y'all next time on X Talking Ish. We will be on here on Sunday for our pre-show pick'ems. So please join us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter for our pre-show pick'ems.